So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with.
I'm Aria from Hoity-Toity.
All right, some questions to say about their upcoming EP, As Above. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Oh, I'm really excited. We have two singles out from this EP: "Playing the Game," which came out in November, and "Over It," which came out in January. And the rest of the EP is really fun. It's like the whole thing is kind of it's sort of more a little bit more pop oriented than some of our previous stuff, but it's still got a bit of an edge to it. And it's like I think this batch of songs is just really like better and more developed than like our previous material. And we had a great team of people like working on like the studio engineer Alex at Sonic Wire, Reed from We Are the Union mixing, and Mads Schubert did the art. And I'm just like super excited to be like have a lot of great people.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
absolutely. It's amazing.
EP rocks.
hmm
Thank you.
Of course.
So is there any meaning behind the EP title or cover art?
Yes. So we've kind of beaten around the fact that there are two EPs coming out this year. So this is the first one, which is called As Above. The other one is going to be called So Below.
Okay.
Release date TBD, but it's all recorded already. We recorded both of them starting in October of 2021. And we decided instead of doing an album of 10 songs, we would do two 5-song EPs, because this batch of songs is kind of more pop rock oriented, kind of in the vein of like The Killers, Two Door Cinema Club, Paramore, or like I don't know, like Walk the Moon kind of vibes. The other one is more kind of in the edgier emo side of things. And so that's gonna come out later this year and will feature some a bit more rock oriented songs.
That's exciting. I love how the genres match the titles as well. That's awesome.
Yeah. And the cover art is gonna be, very much like with that duality theme. It comes from like, Hermeticism and like, the occult and whatever, which is not super like reflected in the lyrics of this EP. There is some stuff on the next one that ties in more lyrically. So that'll come back.
All right. Hell yeah.
I love that.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this EP?
So this EP was pretty different from the previous ones. Our very first EP was written actually mostly before I joined the band. And we kind of overhauled the songs once I joined, but the songs were written with Kelsey, the drummer. Her dad was like sort of the mentor for the whole band early on. Taught everybody how to like be a band, how to write songs, how to, put shit together. And Not Your Kind, the second EP, was pretty much my like first introduction into the band with like actually writing as a group. And that's when her dad sort of stepped away. So this one was sort of the first time we were writing together, like not as literal teenagers, and also kind of the first time writing together where we kind of all knew what we were doing and could be like kind of confident in that, as adults and also as people who had been in a band together and written together before. It was like, okay, now we know what it's like and like what we're doing and where we're going with it. So now let's kind of see where we could take it and kind of make something more developed, and so like we also kind of amped up the production value. It's very like fleshed out is kind of what we were aiming to do. And then lyrically it's also like you can kind of tell if you compare it to like our older stuff. It's like, oh yeah, that stuff was definitely written by a kid in high school. So this is sort of our kind of coming into our own. I think this is like, now it's like, oh hey, we're a real band,
We're
like
really
we're
doing
like,
the damn thing.
yeah, we're not like literally kids anymore. Now we're like fresh out of college, going out, real world motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's amazing to hear. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyric off this EP and what it means to you.
Ooh. Now I'm trying to remember any lyric on this EP.
You could also do an instrumental part if you can't think of any lyrics.
Well, I mean, I like the lyrics to Over It. I think those just kind of are the most true to life of any of our like singles. You know, as far as like other, you know, this is the first time lyrically that we sort of just directly tackle the fact that like people are shitty to us because we're girls, you know?
Yeah.
And so we sort of, you know, once we finally confronted that head on, it's like I knew it had to happen eventually, but it's like I'm glad that it finally did. Cause that shit sucks. And because I'm the person who like runs the social media, I do tend to bear the brunt of it. So like, you know, glad we got a song out of it.
Yeah.
As far as like instrumental parts, I love the arrangement on Karma, which is the last song on the EP. And when the world gets to hear it, they'll know why. But it's a very that's also Reed, the mixer. She said that was her favorite, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a banger. I feel like that song is like definitely like the one on the EP that is like, if you're a musician, you'll fucking get it, you know. Just like in terms of like the way it grooves, and then also like all the little like licks and whatever that are just thrown like in there. It's like we just had a lot of fun with that in the studio. Just kind of being like, how can we just keep this interesting the whole time and always have something going on, you know?
Absolutely. So where's your headspace at while you're writing this EP?
Oh, well, COVID happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was actually, so funny thing, we wrote Playing the Game, which is the first track and the first single. We wrote that, we finished it right at the beginning of 2020. So we played it live for like the first time, I think that February. I think we played it 2-3 times live, and then just everything shut down. And like, it might have been more times actually. It might have been like 4 or 5. But we were gigging at the beginning of 2020. We were like gigging like pretty regularly, and we had gigs set for like basically like 2 gigs a week for like the next month and a half, pretty much booked.
Oh, wow.
And then all of it went away.
Yeah.
And which ended up kind of being a blessing in disguise, because we got the rest of the 2 EPs out of that pretty much. But yeah, we sort of were kind of just in this headspace of like, well, we got nothing else to do but write and I guess make TikToks on this new app that we just started using.
Seems to be working out.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. In terms of like that writing process, switching over like into the pandemic, was everything kind of done remotely? Did you guys file share? Was it Zooms? Like,
no, we still got together because we still pretty much, I mean, one thing that helped was that all of my friends were from my college, right? They all went the fuck home. And like Shelby has like 2 friends to begin with. And Tana, like same deal, and Kelsey, like same deal. It's like we're not seeing a lot of people. And so it's basically we were just like, all right, let's just we're a bubble and be safe. But like we're like, you know, I mean, Kelsey lives like, I think at the time she was living like 15 minutes away from me and Shelby and I live like 5 minutes away, you know. So it's like we're all close together. It's just, let's just not, you know, be stupid otherwise. But we were still writing in person together, and we got together, we played like some live stream shows, and we would have like the audience of like just all of our moms sitting in the corner, like, because it's just like, it's the only people we were seeing pretty much, you know. I saw like very rarely I would see like one of my like friends who like lived in LA or something, and it would just be like the two of us or whatever. But it's like, you know, we were really not seeing a whole lot of anybody anyway. You know, it was like Shelby was just like her mom and her boyfriend, and like that's it. And same with like Kelsey and you know whatever. So it's like we pretty much just were like, all right, we're a bubble. That's that. And so, but it was a lot of just sort of from that point, it's like, all right, we don't have any distractions of like, shit, we have, you know, 4 gigs this month, you know, we gotta have the set ready and all of that. We totally probably forgot how to play all of our other songs, except for when we would have like the rare, like one-off live stream show and we would like relearn everything. But it was a lot of just like, let's just fucking crack down on this shit because we need to be doing something because we don't know how to not do that.
Fair enough. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to get together throughout the entire thing. I'm sure it helped with keeping each other sane.
It also helped that while I was in college, I taught myself how to use Logic. So it's like we were passing around demos, but it was a lot more in person still. I would say, honestly, now we do more virtually than we did at the start of writing this EP, just because we didn't know how really, you know, and now we have that skill set. So it's like I'll record a demo at home and like pass it along, you know?
Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this EP for the first time? Should they play it in the car with friends, dark with headphones on? Should they blast at a party, work out to it? What do you personally recommend?
I would say get in the mood to party, but also it's not a cash album, you know? So it's like be prepared also for some of the tracks to be a little bit like, oh hey, this is really depressing.
Makes sense. So this question should be super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe the CP for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
Real ass shakers.
I agree.
Ooh,
that's what I was thinking the entire time I was listening to it. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Perfect. So is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this EP to invoke in your listeners?
I mean, thematically, there are some songs that are a bit more, a bit less happy, you know? I mean, Over It is kind of a bit pissed off at the world. The 3rd and 5th tracks, those are both kind of a little more bummed out, although mainly I think none of it is like end of the world kind of depressing. It's more just like, ha, this shit sucks, bro. You know? But like kind of with like, you know, that tinge of like, it's fine, whatever, I'm dancing, you know? Because that, I think that's honestly, that's like what got like us through just like all the bullshit of 2020 was just like, hey, this shit sucks, but I'm dancing, you know? So that's I mean, I think that's where I'm at least, you know? That's what I do when I'm like don't know what else to do, is just like, all right, I guess I got to dance.
So what is your favorite memory that you made while creating this EP? Oh,
there were a lot of good ones. I do remember we set all the studio dates, right? We ended up having a lot of delays in the studio. At one point, the engineer got sick, not with COVID, but he got sick. And so we had to postpone, and then he had another thing that he had another commitment. And so we had to like postpone like for months before we could get back in the studio after we had already started, which was not his fault. That was just like bad timing of, you know, health and whatever. But we, I think every step of the entire process, we experienced at least some delay. But I remember when we first set all of the recording dates, I remember we had like extra like dates as like contingencies, like just in case like something changes or gets shuffled around. It's like these dates were also available. So if those dates can't happen, then these dates will happen. And then Pink Shift was like, hey, you want to open for us? And it was on a day that we were in the studio, and I'm like, yes, we do.
Yeah.
And so Good thing we had that contingency because we really needed to be getting shit together. But I was like, I'm glad we prepared for this situation because I would not want to have to say no.
Yeah.
And that was also the first show that I played with my Soli Stardust, which was like, that's the pink guitar that I play now, which I now exclusively play Soli guitars. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour. You're at a gas station for a rest stop. You're going in. What is your snack of choice?
Oh, that depends. Am I a broke bitch like usual?
No, you're living good. This is a good tour.
Okay. Then I'm gonna get some quality joikey.
Oh hell! Oh my god! Whew, that is a lot.
Yeah,
$8.
no. Listen. It's rough out there. But the thing about it is, when you're on tour, especially if you're ever going to Arizona, you see the fucking billboard, and it'll be like, best beef jerky, 100 miles. And you look at the billboard and you think 100 miles. That's a pretty long distance. And then, but you think about it and you're like, best beef jerky though. And then there's nothing else for 100 miles. And then you get there and you see the sign and it says like, you're 90 miles in and it says best beef jerky, 10 miles. And then best beef jerky, next exit. And you're just like, well, shit. If I don't get off now, I'm not going to know if this is the best beef jerky or not. You know?
Exactly.
So I would get that fucking jerky. And if it's not the best, I will burn the state of Arizona to the ground.
It won't be that hard.
Yeah, it really won't. They won't even notice, honestly. I don't think arson's even illegal there.
That's great. So on
like medical marijuana, it's just like you might as well.
Exactly. Why not?
Yeah. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Ooh. Thrifty circus animal cookie ice cream from Rite Aid.
Oh, that sounds good. I watched this guy on TikTok.
It's so. This is not the ice cream, but like the colors are the same. It's so the color of the EP.
It really is.
And I taste colors.
Like actually?
No, but like you know.
I was so excited. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. That's crazy.
Oh, I wish. It is a thing. Synesthesia is a thing. But
synesthesia covers hearing colors and tasting colors?
It covers any sense, yeah. So it's like, depending on what kind of synesthesia you have. So I think if you hear flavors or if you taste color, if you taste colors, that would be chromolingual, I think is like, it's like... It's chromolingual synesthesia. Like lingual meaning I think lingual would be words if your colors are words.
Oh.
I don't know what taste is.
I didn't know these things existed. That's so
cool. They got lots of them. They have so some people are like, like audio visual synesthesia. Some people are like chroma, whatever, like that's like the colors. It's all fucked up. It's all crazy. People's brains just don't work. My brain doesn't work. Good morning.
Mine doesn't work either. It's okay.
You're like, hey, can you do 11 a.m. Eastern? I'm like, yes, I can do 8 a.m. Pacific.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You picked it.
Yeah.
I sent you a list of dates. You picked that one.
We picked it because it was the only time that Shelby was able to do it.
No.
And she's not fucking here.
Shelby, you slept through it.
She goes, if we do it later, I'll be at work. I'm going to be at work for all of these other times. And so I go, okay, let's do the early morning one. She's like, that's perfect because that's an hour before I have to leave for work. So it'll be great.
Shelby.
I called her like 10 times this morning. She didn't pick up.
It was worth a shot, man.
Listen. Had it worked out, she'd be killing it on here.
You're doing a great job. This is great.
The second EP, we'll make sure Shelby makes it.
Yeah. It's like if Joe Rogan was a woman and not that bad of a person. As in, like, she just belongs behind a microphone being like, dude.
She's gonna listen to this and be like,
she's not gonna.
She's not gonna have to listen to it. You're just gonna make this part the clip, Glory. I already know
exactly.
you.
This is the clip, yeah.
because we all laugh. It's perfect for the thumbnail.
Exactly. Oh my god, that's the last thing I expected. That's crazy. Okay. So, for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you.
How dare you? Yeah, go ahead.
Scared me for a second.
Would you like to talk about one of my other interests? May I suggest paleontology or maybe Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog. I know a couple things about Sonic the Hedgehog. My friend loves him. Let's talk for a second.
Okay.
Okay. So, how do you feel about Sonic the Hedgehog, the first comic of that one? Have you read it?
Like, of which comic?
So
there's
the
IDW. Oh, like the fucking like in the US or like the Archie.
Okay, sorry. That's where like my knowledge ends.
There's a lot of different Sonic the Hedgehog comics.
True.
And basically, up until I think to this day, in different regions, they have completely different lore and comics and whatever, and also none of them are consistent with each other. I like the comic where Sonic says, "Fast is my middle name," and then he whispers, "Actually, it's Maurice, but don't tell anybody." That's my favorite.
That's awesome.
I like when Sonic was voiced by Urkel.
No way. Are you joking?
Yeah, Jaleel White.
What?
He was the original American voice of Sonic in the 90s on the cartoons.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you know.
What's Urkel doing there?
You've learned so much today, Glory.
Oh my god. Okay.
Because it was the 90s.
This is crazy. Okay, so anyways, we're actually going to go straight to death row for these last couple questions.
Boom.
Oh, okay.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
If I was on death row, meal with a drink. Arroz tapado with an Inca Cola.
Oh, what is that?
It's Peruvian food and a Peruvian soda.
That sounds delicious. I love Peruvian food.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's lovely.
So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
Shit, that's hard. I'm trying to think of the ones where I would be the most successful. If I wanted to be jaded, I would say Scott Pilgrim. If I wanted to be optimistic, I would say Hi Puffy Amiyumi.
Oh, damn. Okay. I like the diversity in the two picks.
Either way, I'm just gonna be doing the same shit I do now. The question is, what fucking cartoon ass universe is gonna let me do that?
Exactly. Yeah. So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite color?
What is my favorite color? Well, you'll be happy to know that my favorite color is, in fact, pink.
Yep, called it.
That's good.
It's a great color.
Oh,
I'm learning to love it.
Oh, you called it?
I
think
called
you know everything about me?
I know everything about you. Your favorite color is pink. Bam. I knew that.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So as Gloria said, that's all the questions you have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah. I'm in this band that you guys should check out. If you're watching this, you should check out my band. We're called Loser Parade. But also I'm in another band called Hoity-Toity. We have social media. Follow us at Hoity-Toity Official on TikTok and Instagram, at We Are Hoity-Toity on Twitter. Listen to us on Spotify. You can also listen to us on Apple Music, but I won't know about it because I mostly look at the Spotify data because not that many people listen to us on Apple Music. But if enough of you listen on Apple Music, then I will notice because then it will be like, oh, hey, there's a lot of people here.
I should pay attention to this.
Yeah, somebody probably at some point has listened to us on Deezer. We are on Deezer. I don't know anybody who uses Deezer, but it's fun to say.
It is.
It's like a combination of Weezer and D's Nuts.
It is. Oh my goodness. That's beautiful.
That's funny. Well, thank you for now. It's been Aria from Hoity-Toity, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.